Alright, our cute little Tuesday video this week is a roll of paper towels on a paper towel holder. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this is to make. Alright, so for our polymer clay, I have pre-mixed some equal parts white and translucent. I always have a bag of this on hand. This is a gray, this is a black, and this is a silver. Brands of clay do not make a difference on this particular project. And let me back you up just a little bit so I'm not quite so apt to go out of frame. And we'll get to this piece in a minute. So I'm just going to roll out a cylinder. I'm going to try and make cylinders or snakes out of all four pieces that are about the same length. And you notice most of this is white. The silver, the gray is next, and then the silver and the black are quite a bit less. In fact, I may not use all of that black. The silver is optional. It's just I wanted to add a little sparkle to this. I like to add a little sparkle. This black is, I don't remember what brands these even are. This black is a lot firmer than the others. Yeah, I want to get half of this because that is, we don't want much black. And I may not even use all that I've got here. Less black is better. All right, now we're going to mold these together and we're going to roll. Now, the goal is not to mix, it's to marble. And there's a big difference between mixing and marbling. And this is just one of many ways to marble. This is the way I usually marble. Although this time, normally I get out my pasta machine for this, and I decided not to today, since we're just making one little thing. Now, if you have leftover marbled clay, just put it in a Ziploc sandwich bag and put it with the rest of your clay. You can always use this another time. You may want another marbled piece later. All right, I kind of like that. So I have 2 craft sticks. And I'm going to lay one on each side of this. These are so I don't roll too thin. I don't want this to be super thin. I want it to have some depth to it. And this way my roller can only go down as far as these allow it. So my clay is going to be this thick. I've got one of these fancy toothpicks. If you don't have a fancy toothpick, just use a regular toothpick. You can put a bead on the end, whatever, it's optional. Sorry, I had to take a drink of coffee. And I have some TLS. Now I've already measured down 1 inch from the top and put a mark, another 1/2 inch down. We need a 1 inch piece with the fancy end, and then we need a 1/2 inch that's just plain. If you don't have one of these, use a plain toothpick, use a piece of 1/16 inch dowel. This is a very forgiving project. Now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to sand off one end. There we go. All right. So I have a little cutter here, a little clay cutter, which I'm juggling badly. And I am going to cut out it's about a 3/4 inch round cutter. So I am going to cut out a 3/4 inch circle. Now I need to find the center of my circle without messing it up. And believe me, this is a lot easier to do when you're not doing it on camera. I'm going to put a hole through, and then I'm going to attempt to turn this over. I'm actually going to move this to a piece of parchment paper. I want to bake this on parchment just in case the TLS soaks through. Since I bake on paper plate, I don't want this to stick to the paper plate. I'm dipping the end of my, it's the cut end of my fancy toothpick. I'm going to place it right there. And hopefully it will stay straight up and down. Now at the unsanded end of this, we're going to, without dropping it into the TLS, now close this before I spill it. Alright, I have a paper plate here to bake on. I'm going to fiddle with these. I'll fiddle with them just before I put them in the oven also. I'm going to bake these at 250 degrees for probably about 5 or 10 minutes. I want that TLS to completely set. When that's done, I'll be back and we'll go to the next step. Alright, this is all baked and cooled. I've still got it on top of my parchment paper. And I've got some satin Mod Podge. This again is some of the Mod Podge that was sent to me by Plaid for use in videos. Oh, I haven't opened this one yet. I'll open it more thoroughly later. This one I'm just going to take just that much because it's probably all we're going to need on this. Now normally when I make a marble item, I would normally just buff it to get a shine, but with the sticks in there, and I got that one a little crooked, but that's okay. But since we've got the wooden sticks in there, we can't do that. Now, we're going to take this same, we're going to put this off to the side, and I've prepped a little bit of stuff for our paper towel roll. I have a strip of just printer paper. It's cut the length of the page, so 11.5 by 3/4 of an inch wide. And then I have a strip of 3/4 inch strip of just Kleenex type tissue from this. The best kind is, you know, the cheap tissue that you buy and then you're mad at yourself because it makes your nose really raw when you've got a cold. That's the kind you want. Don't get the good, don't bother with the good stuff. And then I have a bamboo skewer. So I am going to, I'm actually using directly out of the container of the Mod Podge. I am going to start by rolling this because I want to get this paper so that it starts to have the curve. And we're going to work with it. We're going to need to get it straight. Okay, don't need to go the whole distance. Now, on the outside of the curve, because you don't want to permanently attach this to your bamboo skewer, the first couple of, like inch or 2 inches of the paper, we're going to do that. Doesn't have to be super tight. You just want to work slowly and do your best to keep it straight. And once you get past where your glue was, you don't need to put it the whole width just so it goes down at least the middle. You just don't want this to come unrolled. So I am going to slowly work my way down the length of this paper. When I get this all glued on, I'll be back and we'll put on the outside layer. All right, I'm just about to the end. I did take it off the skewer to make it a little easier to work with. We're going to, this is basically what we're doing here is we're making a paper bead. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. We're going to put some Mod Podge on the outside. We're going to take that piece of tissue and we are going to trying to keep this as straight as possible. And we don't need a whole lot of rolls. We just want some really lightweight paper so that it looks like paper towels. Real paper towels would be way out of scale. What I like to do is make sure that the inner layer, if you have a double layer Kleenex, be sure and get that bottom one on really tight, and then leave a little tiny bit of one layer loose. Now this Mod Podge and the Mod Podge on our paper towel holder need to dry, and then we'll be back and see how it looks. Alright, our Mod Podge is dry now. I noticed I didn't quite get this straight, but that's okay, because once we put the paper towels on, no one will know. So I hope you enjoyed today's project. If you did, be sure and hit the like button. Leave a comment if you'd like. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy my content, be sure and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I put out a new video. Be sure and check the blog posts. Blog posts are always linked in the description down below. And check us out on Facebook, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.